stopping in to talk to you about the struggle of when you feel busy, but you really have no business. Now, what does that mean? We can be spending lots of time thinking about our business, setting things up for our business to make our businesses run smoother, but we might not have any business. And fall season feels a little tricky for a lot of people because they want students. They know students are out there. They know that students are going to be looking for them, or at least their parents are, but they don't always have methods for finding students. So I actually want to talk to you a little bit about time management and marketing, and hopefully this will help to kind of get you in the mode of growing your business, feeling confident with the growth, and then staying fully booked because it's hard. It's a hard thing when you are an independent tutor and you are relying just on yourself for drumming up business. You can't fall asleep at the wheel. Literally, you gotta stay visible. You have to be talking about what you're doing, and you have to be speaking to your audience. Now, if this is the first time that you've ever met me. My name is Sheryl Uehling. I am the host of this conversation, and I also run the Tech Hub for Tutors, where I'm a tech coach for tutors, and I really focus on coming up with ways to use technology for you to move online, but I also talk a lot about email marketing and just doing things like this where you're going live and having the courage to do it because it is really challenging to push the record button or the live button and just share your message out with people. So I know that feeling of, oh, can I really do it? And what are they going to think of me? And here's what I have to say about that. Don't worry about what people think about you. They're either going to stay and listen to what you have to say, or they're going to sign off and go find somebody else to listen to. It's just that simple. So you need to be talking to your right crowd. You need to know what your message is and who you want to talk to. And so you're not necessarily going to stay busy and drum up no business, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to be looking over my notes on my other documents. If you're like, what is she looking at? I'm actually looking at my notes. So the very first thing that I'm going to really encourage you to do is time block. Okay. I know that seems like a really crazy thing to say. I'm going to time block on my calendar, but I did this and it's still actually still on my calendar. When I wake up in the morning, it will say what I'm supposed to be doing. Sometimes I ignore that. Okay. Sometimes that's just something that I don't even pay attention to. And I'm like, maybe I should be paying attention to that. So you want to say at a minimum, say on Mondays, I'm going to do this. On Tuesdays, I'm going to do this. On Wednesdays, I'm going to do this. On Thursdays, I'm going to do this. Friday, I take off. Saturday, I might do this. And Sunday, I take off. Because we can be very busy inside of our business, but not actually be getting any business done. So I want you to reevaluate some things. What does it look like when you're working on emails? What does it look like just organizing lessons, that lesson prep, that lesson planning? Those things can make us feel really busy, but there's some things there that you can do to streamline that. And by dedicating a block of time each week, maybe you don't want to do something every single day. I like that because it's in little chunks. But maybe you just want to say Mondays is my day to do this, or Fridays is my day to do this, whatever day you feel most comfortable with. But really think about having this block of time so that you're not just constantly running all over the place thinking, oh, I need to do this and go work on it for 5 minutes. Oh, I need to do this. And you get started, but then you get interrupted. Like really letting your family know that I'm going to go to work right now and I need this 2 hour time period, and I'll come back and I'll check with you guys in a little bit. So having those dedicated blocks of time actually will really make you be hyper focused on what you're going to be doing, and you might actually be able to start and finish something. One of the things that I hear most often with the members of the Tech Cover Tutors membership, they struggle to get started because they don't know the starting point. But then when they get started, they can't always finish because they don't have a plan of action. And I think that's one of the things that we just have to do is just train our brain to figure out what does that look like for me? It might be different for me than it is for you. And how are you going to move yourself forward? So really having that power hour or that power day or that 15 minutes in the every morning you're just going to take care of this one little task. So making sure that you do that, I think, is really going to help you stay focused. Now, we're going to build your visibility through doing little micro marketing moments, and they can be super, super simple. And some things that I have found that really, really work are to just you can go live on your phone while you're outside walking. There's actually people that pay attention to that. You can create little bits in Canva, like a little, what do I want to say, a graphic in Canva, and then you can share it out and you can talk into your phone and use an audio and share it that way. But I'm talking things like student success stories, study tips, parent testimonials, or even just your own, just everyday. Hey, did you know I worked on this today? My student will be doing this, and telling those personal stories. So anytime that somebody can connect with you through an experience that you've either provided for a student or you want to provide for a student, I think they'll really connect with you, and I think it's a really, really good idea. So there's this method that kind of popped up through my, I was doing some research, and they said a 3-3-3 plan, which means you're going to post 3 times a week. You're going to connect with 3 parents or educators during the week, and then you're going to refresh 3 pieces of your existing marketing material. Now, I have not actually done that, but I like this method, and I think I'm going to jot that one down as one of the things that I might try. Maybe just try it for a month and see if it works. We're always reinventing ourselves, because when you always are doing the same thing all the time, people lose interest. So it is a good idea to kind of switch things up. And remember that word micro marketing. We don't have to build out these huge campaigns and spend hours and hours and hours trying to share what we do in our private tutoring businesses. But one thing that I can tell you is those success stories and even your feelings and emotions when a student meets with success. Parents love to hear that, and so these conversations with you are always great reminders for myself that I don't have to overthink it. I can keep it really, really simple. Okay, the next thing would be to think about automations and the way that you can automate things inside of your business. Now, I use Tutorbird. Some of you have followed me and watched my Tutorbird information that I've talked about. And there's a lot of great programs out there. And I want you to choose the one that you're most comfortable with. But since this is really the only program that I work with, and I'm really dedicated to it, I can tell you that automations have saved me. People can contact me through my contact page for my reading tutoring services. I'm getting a lot of requests from junior high parents where they're like, I'm homeschooling parent. I have taught my child how to read, but they don't enjoy it and they really don't like to write and they can't spell. Can you help me? And then I respond. I'm like, yeah, okay, and we'll get you signed up. And pretty soon, boom, they're in my Tutorbird account. All of their child's information is in there because the parent put it in there. The parent can see the calendar, so they can see my availability or their child's availability. They can either book and find if I have those open. Right now, they're not open. It's a really busy season for me. But when I have less, students, then I will open those up and they can quickly click. And then I get the automation that comes up on my phone that says so and so has booked a lesson for this time. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I better be home, or I better have my tools ready to go on my phone or my tablet so that I'm ready to go. So automating those things is really important. Thinking about things like payment reminders, receiving payments, your scheduling tool. What does that look like for you? And so when we say we're really busy in our business, we don't want to be so busy doing all of those things that actually make your business run. We want to be able to just handle it from anywhere. As a matter of fact, I had some requests for schedule changes because my students enter school at different times based on where they're at around the United States. So some of my students are already in school the first week of August. And then other students, like I have some students, I'm filming this on September 4th. I've got another student that just started today, and I believe his brother starts tomorrow. And so they're just starting. So the parents were like, hey, we need a different time now that we're going back to school. So then I'm sitting in the chair yesterday getting my hair cut, and I'm on my little Tutorbird app and I'm looking for open spots and I'm plugging those in and then sending an email to the parent to say, hey, Can you go in and check to see if this actually works for you? If it doesn't, I'll make a change when I get home. I just wanted to make sure that you knew about this change." And then the parent got back to me and said, "Yep, that'll work." So that automation right there, just being able to do it from the salon chair and not worry about rushing home to actually do it on my computer, gave me a lot of satisfaction, and it relieved the stress of spending, rushing home from something that could be taken care of off my phone. So we want to think of these down seasons, like you're maybe in a down season right now because it's fall, and maybe some of your summer students have left and their parents are like, "Let's see how the year goes." Or maybe some of the students have graduated your program, or maybe you're a brand new tutor and you're just getting started and you're thinking, how can I actually drum up business? These simple little steps that I've just shared with you are going to, this kind of like what I call your planting season. You're thinking about, like, we're going to plant the seed and we're going to let it grow. But these are the things that are going to help you to really handle the growth later when people finally find you. And here's the other thing. I know I mentioned TutorBird, and that is a paid service. But a couple things that I like about this paid service is it has a built-in website. And so if you don't already have a website, you get to design it yourself. You might actually be able to change the end of it from tutorbird.com, but I just decided to just keep it because it was one less step for me that I did not have to deal with. And I just made it public by putting a special little code in there. And so I planted that. It was like I'm growing my business by growing my web page. And then every time I share something just like this, I'll go back in and I'm going to edit this live conversation. And then I'm going to go back in and I'll share my website on there so that people can come back and they're like, "Oh, well, Sheryl was talking about the Tech Hub for Tutors, so I'm going to go check that out." And that is something that I want to finish this live conversation with you about, is the Tech Hub for Tutors. It is a growing private membership, but you can come and join the free Facebook group and you can ask your questions there. And I don't have to be the only one to answer them for you. So I'm hoping to build conversation for tutors just like you. And it's not just for reading tutors. Just because I'm a reading tutor doesn't mean that you have to be a reading tutor. You can be any kind of a tutor. You can come over and join our free Facebook group, and then hopefully you'll roll into our private membership and feel even more supported with, recordings and things that I do that are specifically geared towards the members of the Tech Hub for Tutors. And coming up, the week of September 15th, I am going to be posting my results from my virtual open house with my parents. My parents, I've emailed them. They've gotten lots of reminders. They're going to get another reminder this week about it. It's on my blog inside of TutorBird. So every time they open it up, it's the first thing that they're seeing, as a reminder that I really want them to come to introduce their children to the other children, and then the parents to one another, so that they can see that there's a lot of things that they have in common, and they can feel supported not just by me, but by each other. And then we're also going to be talking about IEPs and 504 plans, and they might be called something else. Maybe it's an MTSS situation in your school, but whatever the new lingo is for your school or your province or wherever you're at in the world, wherever they're at, we're going to talk about, if your child has a plan at school, we want to make sure that the school's following the plan and that you have voice and choice in that plan. All right, I'm going to wrap this stream up. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you're not just feeling busy, but that this conversation will help you drum up more business and become more noticeable to people, and that you'll just have a growing tutoring business that you find a lot of satisfaction in. And you know what? It can pay your bills. It's a pretty cool thing. Thanks for spending some time with me today. You guys make it a great day. And as usual, keep the learning going.